I don't remember much about those early days in the ICU. The room was always too bright or too quiet. The machines beeped in patterns I tried to understand, like they were talking to me in a language only I could hear. I was trapped, not just in my body, but inside a terrifying silence. I could hear people's voices. I knew when someone entered the room. I knew when they stood over me. But I couldn't respond, couldn't scream, couldn't blink, couldn't let anyone know I was still there. And worst of all, I heard my husband whisper things I was never meant to hear. He came often, always at night, maybe because fewer people were around. He'd lean in close, hold my hand gently, and speak in a voice that would have broken me even if I could scream. "Just let go, Camille," he whispered one night. "You don't have to fight anymore. It's okay. You're tired. I'm tired too." But I didn't want to let go. I wanted to live. For me, for our son, for all the things I hadn't done yet. He kept visiting, and every time his words grew colder. "I loved you once," he said another night, almost as if he was confessing. "But that was a long time ago. Things are different now. You'd understand if you could hear me." I wanted to scream, "I do hear you." Sometimes the nurses talked too. I recognized one of their voices. Nina. She had a soft voice and a kind heart. She would sit with me longer than required, adjust my blanket, brush the hair from my forehead. One night I heard her say quietly, "He's pushing for the DNR again. Something feels off." That was the first moment I realized I might actually be in danger. Mason wasn't just giving up, he was planning something. One evening I felt a change, a shift in the air, a presence I hadn't felt in a long time. It was my sister, Celia. Her voice cracked when she spoke. "God, Cammy, what happened to you? One moment you were fine, and now this." She held my hand so tightly, and even though I couldn't squeeze back, I think she felt me. "Don't you dare leave me," she said. "Don't leave me with that smug bastard. I never liked Mason." My heart pounded harder. Someone was on my side. Someone still believed in me. Then came the worst day. The doctor came in. I heard his tone before his words, stern, final. "Mr. Whitaker, we've done everything we can. There's been no response. If your wife has an advance directive, we can honor it. Otherwise, it's your decision." "She wouldn't want this," Mason said quickly, too quickly. "She always said she hated hospitals, hated being a burden." That wasn't true. I never said that, never. But no one was there to speak for me except him. Before they acted, they let our son Ezra visit me one last time. He was only 10, brave but confused. His little hands touched my arm, his breath hitched. "Mom, are you sleeping? Daddy says you might not wake up, but I think you can. I believe you can. Please wake up, okay? Please." I would have traded every breath in my lungs to hold him, to whisper back, to promise I wasn't going anywhere. But all I could do was scream inside. That night, something inside me snapped. I don't know what it was. Willpower, a mother's instinct, rage. But I fought. I pushed against the darkness like I was drowning and could see the surface above me, and then a flutter. A muscle in my finger twitched. The heart monitor beeped erratically. Nina rushed in. "Doctor, her hand moved. I saw it." Everything after that was chaos. Mason came running in, but for the first time he didn't look relieved. He looked terrified. I was awake, but I didn't open my eyes. Not yet. Something inside me told me not to. The nurse left the room shortly after checking my monitors. I heard her footsteps fade, the soft creak of the door as it closed behind her. And then, Mason's voice. He was there. My husband, the man I trusted with everything, sat beside my bed. I could hear the squeak of the chair as he leaned forward. He sighed, a long, heavy sigh that seemed rehearsed, practiced. You weren't supposed to make it, Camille. I stopped breathing just for a second. Did I hear that right? I made peace with it. You weren't going to wake up, and now I don't know what to do. My heart thundered in my chest, but I kept still, frozen. He kept talking as if my stillness gave him permission. I had a plan. Everything lined up. The accounts, the insurance, the house. His voice cracked, not with grief, but frustration. You weren't supposed to come back. I wanted to scream, but instead I focused on staying silent, on memorizing every word. He stood up, paced a little. Then in a colder voice, you made it harder than it had to be. The pills, the staged conversations with doctors. I even brought in Rebecca to help. Rebecca. The name rang in my ears like a warning bell. My best friend, my closest friend, the one who sat beside Mason in the hospital waiting room, who held his hand when he cried, who read to me when I was unconscious. Rebecca says it's time we finish this, one way or another. I stayed frozen for another 10 minutes after he left. When I finally opened my eyes, the room spun with horror. My heart pounded like it was trying to warn me from the inside. I had no idea how deep this betrayal went, but I knew one thing. I had to survive, and no one could know I was awake. Over the next few days, I faked every blink, every twitch, every shift. Nurses noted signs of recovery, but I didn't speak. Not yet. Every time Mason came in, I played dead. And every time I heard more truths, more lies. He told the doctors he was overwhelmed, that if I didn't make a full recovery, he wanted to begin closure steps, whatever that meant. But then one night I heard something that made my blood freeze. He was on the phone, in my room, talking softly, to her. She's stabilizing. We need to push things forward. Pause. No, I'll handle it. But if she talks, another pause. His voice dipped lower. Then we'll both lose everything. My vision blurred with tears I couldn't shed. My body felt like a trap, keeping me stuck while my life unraveled around me. I was living inside a lie, and the two people I loved most were behind it. The doctors were hopeful. They called my responsiveness miraculous. Said I had a strong will to live. Mason pretended to be thrilled. But I noticed the stiffness in his hugs, the flicker of fear in his eyes. Rebecca came in less and less. I guessed they were planning something, or running scared. But while they whispered behind my back, I did something they didn't expect. I started documenting everything. I had Rachel, my younger sister, come visit one afternoon. She brought me a journal, a pen, and her old iPhone. I told her in whispers about everything I remembered, every word Mason said, every hint, every call. Rachel had always been the quiet one in the family, but when I told her what was happening, her face hardened, her hands shook. We're going to get them, she said. And for the first time in weeks, I felt something close to hope. The nurse who took care of me the most, Clara, was kind and careful. One day when Mason wasn't around, Clara slipped a small flash drive into my hand. I saw him, she whispered. Changing your dosage. I reported it once, but it disappeared from the records, so I made a copy. My eyes welled up. I couldn't speak. I just nodded and held her hand. I don't know what he's trying to do, she said, but you're not alone. Rachel later plugged the drive into her laptop, and what we found was devastating. Dosage changes on days when Mason was alone with me, missing logs, altered reports. He was slowly poisoning me under the guise of care, and had the hospital staff convinced he was a model husband. I had a choice: tell the doctors now and expose him publicly, or wait for him to think I was still under, wait for him to make his final move. So I waited. I asked Clara to keep quiet, Rachel too. We made sure no one knew I was lucid, and then I asked Rachel to find a lawyer. By the second week, I was speaking again, slowly, weakly, but the doctors called it a miracle. I could see it in Mason's face. Then he didn't know whether to run or smile. He chose to smile. "You're coming back to me," he whispered, kissing my forehead. I almost flinched, but I smiled back. I'd gotten better at pretending. The lawyer Rachel found, Ms. Danvers, was sharp, no nonsense. We met in secret during visiting hours, with Clara keeping watch. I handed over the journal, the flash drive, the voice memos Rachel had recorded of Mason's phone calls. Ms. Danvers listened without blinking. When I finished, she said, "We'll file an emergency injunction. You'll be protected, but you need to stay quiet for just a little longer." I nodded. I could do that. Because now I had the power. The day before I was supposed to be released from the hospital, Mason came into my room with flowers. He looked tense. His hands shook as he placed the bouquet by my bed. "Camille," he said, "there's something I want to talk to you about." I nodded weakly. "The house. It's too big. I was thinking we could sell it, maybe move somewhere fresh, start over." I tilted my head. "Fresh start?" He smiled, but there was sweat on his brow. "Yeah, somewhere no one knows us." That was all I needed to hear. He was planning to run, but I was ready. He thought I'd never know, but I never forgot. He tried to bury me, but I came back stronger. I thought I had seen the worst, but the truth waiting in the next room was something I never could have imagined. Click on part 3 to see how it all ends.